Blunk, and now you're under my control.
We also have Jules in the house. What's up? What's up? Jules in the house. This is going to be a very difficult podcast to do.
Oh, really, dude?
Why is it being Jewish an insult to you, Nick?
I'm a motherfucking monster.
I'll give him a year.
Going to next. Oh, yeah, him and his wife. Give me that clip. Him and his wife from this morning, we watched this, or last night, we watched it over eating chicken. We made a chicken yesterday, an indoor beer can elevated chicken using Modelo Mexican beer. Guess what? Don't use Modelo talls for your beer can chicken. They skimped on the aluminum, you see. Can't imagine, their race skimping on quality, but they did. And the can is so thin, it crinkles and crunkles under the chicken. The chicken goes cockeyed, burning one of its shoulders.
It didn't, though. It was amazing.
It was amazing, but don't use Modelo.
That was a possibility.
Use an American brand with some class.
What could have happened if we weren't so apt in the kitchen.
Yeah. Trailer Swift, they're calling her now. Yeah, you can't unsee it. Those breast implants don't do
Yes, I'm
me
so
much.
glad that they're saying, haha, the girls from Justified were so
Yes.
trash.
Well, I like the courtroom lady.
Yes. But that other girl in season one, it's like,
kill her.
You're a Nazi. I like how
You're
she
not
hangs
gonna
out
be
with all
with
the
that guy.
Nazi guys and is part of their family.
Yeah.
And he's like, I love you.
Well, you were once my fourth grade crush.
It's like, get away
you wouldn't.
from
Her
her.
forehead is up to here.
I hate her.
Okay, what's this Chris D'Elia with his wife? Here it is. Wait till you see these two. And ooh, see that? And it's Super Cult Studios. He's leaning into this cult. He loves the cult, of course. Like we didn't all joke about that. No one. Here, watch this.
Runk.
Ooh.
She's singing Christmas music as we speak, literally.
Ooh,
She's
there he
singing
is.
Christmas music in the other room. You can't hear it.
He's wearing chains. This is why I stopped shopping at Kith. Yeah. I ain't shopping at Kith. Do your part. Don't shop at Kith anymore. Okay? You don't need any more Stone Island. You want to look like him? Do not shop at Kith.
Why is this like this? You singing Christmas music? You singing Christmas?
He's got this tattoo at his neck, right? 45. They say it's because he spent $45 on that backdrop. This is where he's bragging. This is what they can't live without. They'd rather die and go to jail than live without this. Watch this.
Christmas music?
Ooh, look at him. He's in his own hell.
Oh, yeah, I think you were.
Ooh, God, every time he looks, he really looks like so
Now,
put
this
upon.
came out, they said they recorded it one day before
One
the
day
doc
before
came
the
out.
doc, they claim this came out. And if anybody, please keep tabs on Chris. Let me know what he did right after that doc. It's very important to me to know what he did moments after the doc, what he's doing now. I heard a lot of his shows have been removed from his website. He's afraid people are going to contact the club. Very easy to contact these clubs. Nothing wrong with it. I think you should be aware of this YouTube video. They claim that he picks girls from audiences, which you supply. And do you really want to facilitate another one of these? We're just warning you, the upcoming clubs. Let's see what he does here with his wife.
I don't know, she says.
Imagine having your wife on a show.
Well, she sings Christmas music, and she absolutely does it to, did she probably didn't even hear it, honestly. Kristen probably didn't even hear it. It's the night, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. Well, I guess this comes out the 19th of December. When is this going to come out? I don't know when this will come out. What is this? Let's see. I don't know. It's coming out close to Christmas. I know that.
4:40. I think that's when she comes out.
Yeah. So it's Chris, Kristen, and then what's his son's nickname? Hot Chris Buns? Was that something?
Cal.
Cal. His son's name. Listen to this. Calvin is his son's name. That retard who looks like something you'd find in a cheap fish tank. his son, Calvin, guess what they call him for short? Cal. Yep. All my HBO Max subscribers, stand on up. You know what I'm talking about. Who was the biggest creep in Euphoria? Cal, the dad. He named his son after Cal from Euphoria. Look it up. This guy was into trans, so his son's probably fucking trans men. Named Jules. That ruined you for me, by the way, that show, Euphoria. Every time I look at Jules, I think, could she be trans? Because I would not stand for that. That's my final answer. Here, she's coming. Right?
What you doing?
Let's explore. Let's see what we see. He's got his laptop.
Oh, she's making a coffee. Nice. She making a coffee. So she is making a coffee. Now, here's the deal. I guarantee she's going to... Look, this is a Christmas... This is... Basically, we're doing a two-parter with Kristen because she loves Christmas. And I told you this... I've been working too hard, and I thought that, since we had David Sullivan on the show, we could also have Kristen on the show. And this way, I'll be refreshed and rejuvenated for the new year. And I could start doing...
Such nervous eyes, huh?
Obviously, the podcast is solo. So I guess for now we can just do my dates here as she makes.
Oh, the dates. These dates need to stop, huh? Oh, fellas, enough with these dates. I don't think this guy should be going on dates. Let's put a hindrance on those very important dates, those dates that are paying his mortgage, those dates that are keeping this whole shebang in operation. There's nothing illegal about a venue deciding to cancel a date. Now, I'm not in the business of that, of course. I'm reaching out to people who are into that type of thing, though. Can't be blamed for enticing a psycho to email people. Or maybe I can. I'm willing to take that risk. Jen Kirkman will fund me, I'm sure, if anything shall happen. She's rich. She was on Twitter.
To subscribe to on my tour vlogs that I am.
There she
used
is.
to be like this rock star shit. Like I would go out on stage and I loved it for that reason. But now I love it because it's just absolutely. I just feel very grateful, and that's what I was describing on it. I think my Boston or not my Boston one, but my it might have been my Boston one or my Denver one or my Cheyenne one, my tour vlog. Anyway, yeah, you look great. The camera look.
Wow. If some guy was talking like that in a movie, it would be like cue to think she's fucking up to something. Okay, what's he up to? As his wife enters. You ever heard me fucking act like that? The skirt club, of course. Oh, hello, Jules. I'm not doing anything wrong. And then this bitch comes in with her champion streetwear as if she ever fucking wore anything but the gayest fucking mall clothes before she met him. This is an out of it fucking rich, stupid bitch. She doesn't know anything about cool clothes. That's why she has this dumb mom haircut. Okay. She probably watches the Hannah Sluss Instagram stories to figure out recipes. She's a fucking Maransky. And he's trying to kith her up. Let me give you a kith. She's like, a kiss? No, a kith. Gift cards so you could dress like me, bitch.
Or my Cheyenne one, my tour vlog. Anyway, yeah, you look great. The camera loves you.
Thank you.
But you got to talk into this. It's one of the main things. Now, hello, Kristen.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi. You have this on
Creepy,
backwards. Did you know that? Do you want me to change
I want
it?
you to know how they interact. We don't show enough of this. People don't examine this enough. It's never in your face.
Why is she doing this? whenever I see them together, it just blows my mind. And also, if she is willing to,
and she's
stick
always
by
looking
him,
at him like this. That's why I think she's involved.
That's what I mean. I'm not saying anything, but if she's willing to stick with him through this, why show your face and be a part of his show?
And look, sorry about that. Look how much makeup she puts on, looking like Paula Abdul. Her nose. And it's just very creepy. I just wanted to play some of this so you can see how. And look how Chris is looking at her. He's really taking it to the edge, huh? Putting his wife into the podcast. Hey, get out of there.
Oh, really, dude?
Sorry.
Oh, really,
Stop
dude?
it. Stop. This is so unprofessional. We got victims watch. Okay, let's watch.
It's okay.
Okay, cool. It says Calvin, but it's backwards.
That's all right.
It's very cute. And how are you feeling, first of all? Well, I asked that because I caught you singing Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. Now, you weren't singing it that good, obviously.
That's not true.
What?
I think if we had a competition between who was a better singer, I
Yeah.
would win.
You are a pretty damn good singer. If I'm going to
Oh,
give
thanks.
you, yeah, because when you know how I said like taking liberties and I was leaving and you were singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Oh,
It
God.
was funny.
That was not my best work, though.
No, but I actually thought, wow, that
Live in a plain home. All right, we're going to show you a choice clip. Let's go to 4. Oh, Kristen comes out. Okay, let's go to 28:35.
Good eyesight
this is-
today, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
Have
I
you
got
been eating
LASIK
carrots?
surgery at a Jewish doctor's office, and he gave me LASIK surgery. 28:35. I met a doctor so Jewish I almost ripped that cape off and skedaddled, but he was too good. I had a doctor so Jewish that I was about to call the police during my meet and greet with him at the appointment, but he was so good at tricking me that I stayed and I booked a follow-up. That's how Jewish this fucking guy was. 28:35. Listen to this. This guy was so Jewish that he lied to my face, and I gave him more dates to see him. 28:35. This doctor, oh my God, was he so good. And I could see what Kanye meant. Watch this. Listen to
you're just
this.
great. You're great. And I say it on my podcast. And sometimes I honestly say, like, you're my angel. And I don't actually like the way I say that because you're an angel. And I am lucky enough to.
Wait. Listen to this one more time. My angel versus an angel? Interesting. Let's hear it.
Podcast. And sometimes I honestly say, like, you're my angel. And I don't actually like the way I say that because you're an angel. And I am lucky enough to be around you.
Okay. Wait. You're allowed to call your wife my angel. You're allowed to call your dog my whatever. Your kid my whatever. It is yours! Only a person being accused of a power manipulation ring would try to virtue signal that, I would never call you my angel. You're an angel, okay? So let's not. Nothing is mine, of course. No, your wife is yours. By the way, if there's any discussion about otherwise, not here. These wives are more than what's allowed, by the way. So the fact that he backs off of that means, wait, I have this my thing where I steal all these women's souls, right? So I can't. Look at this. And she's like, oh, thank you. Like, if I called Jules my anything, she'd be fucking honored. Because I'm not out there stealing people. Which is another term for cheating. And look at this fake thinking face. Only a complete liar from a film thinks like this. Ask me a question, Jules.
Why are you calling me your angel?
What? That's movie shit. No one thinks like that unless they're completely acting. Watch this.
Sometimes I honestly say, like, you're my angel. And I don't actually like the way I say that because you're an angel. And I am lucky enough to be around you.
Oh, babe.
That's how I like to say it better than
You're
that.
sweet.
If I said that to Jules, she would think something's up.
Yeah, I know. Right?
She would think, okay, what the hell is going on? I can't believe it's happening. Like, what do I do? You know.
I would think you were cheating.
Yeah, and she's like, look at this face. Oh, thanks, babe. That's the face you look at somebody like across the courtroom deposition table. This is nuts.
But I say you're my angel, and I don't like the way that says. Every time I say that, I'm like, I kind of cringe because it's not. I don't think that's right to say.
You're
but yeah,
sweet.
I'm all
It's
right.
not right to
Want to
say.
hear why I like you? Or why I fell in love with you?
Because of the cult and the manipulation power? Why else? Money? Or the reputation? It's pretty cool to be with him. You ever Googled him? A lot of cool articles come up. Is that why you love him? Or is there something more twisted at play?
I just don't get it.
Ew.
I ate it.
Ew.
So the
Goofing
tear
around with his
built
wife.
up in my
It's a
eye,
sign of a
went
steal.
down to my cheek, built up on my chin. It got bulbous, got too heavy, and too much
And, like,
liquid.
even
Fell down,
if you
caught
really did love him, like, wouldn't the weight of like,
Why
does
would-
she ever have to like explain to anyone? Like when
I
I'm getting a
know,
haircut,
this would be terrible.
and someone is like, "So what do you do for a living?" I'm like,
and then a third guy comes in and we get out of there.
and it's like I hate talking about this stuff to normal. I mean, I'm not
Yes.
trying to be like, but you know, it's you don't want to open that door.
Yes.
And imagine if someone was like, "Oh, so what's your husband's name?" And then you're like,
Chris D'Elia. It's actually Chris D'Elia. You ever heard of him?
D'Elia.
It's Chris D'Elia. Watch your fucking back.
Isn't the daily weight of having that on you
Yes.
just so much?
That's why I
that
say
it's not worth
his
it. even if
dad
you do
needs to go
love
through
him?
some professional embarrassment.
That's what
you know. His dad is a famous Hollywood producer. He's got a lot of famous friends and projects he's currently working on. It would be a disaster for him if this tape circulated around one of his current sets and all his employees saw what we saw in that tape. Oh, Mr. D'Elia, Bill D'Elia, the powerful Bill. How shameful to have your son involved in a mess like this. Maybe he would start hitting him like you'd see in a movie of a powerful dad and son combo. I want you to abuse your son so hurt people more. And then I want that Calvin to go out like the monster he is, like that crocodile that he is, and eat women whole in Tampa. Okay? That's what I want. I want father like son. I want this to continue going for generations until this whole family's behind bars. And I don't care how many victims there needs to be as long as I see Chris go.
That's not true. But,
Of course not.
sorry, I was just still thinking about this.
I was
Crazy.
waiting for her. That's a test on her. Cheers, everybody, to a wonderful Jingleheim, of course, the day after Christmas. You know, we got a big trip coming up. I got to slow down on these, but I will take one more
Yes.
with my friend. These are my
I
friends.
only had one today, and there's
Good,
only one
yes.
sip left.
Slow down.
so-
Because Jules and I are in an alcoholic turmoil where we're all whacking each other, screaming holes through the door. Let's see. Why don't we read the chat? Anything good in the chat there, Jules, while I take
Oh,
a
yes.
sip of my Kirkman brandy? It's stupid. John Kirkman must think I got some scheme going on, you know, to set her up or something. There's no scheme. I always feel, you know, very bad about that. Get the au pair. Yes, he was, raised by an au pair. That whole family, you know, I've seen that on American Horror Story. Legions of Mike's victims. You know, fuck Calvin.
But that's why
We
I
should get
think
shirts.
that
Fuck Calvin.
I feel like it's possible that he's still manipulating her too.
Yeah.
Because that's what I mean. What I said before is
Well, think about it.
like, why wouldn't she-
about it, dude. Well, I'm like dying. I ran out
He's
of
just
water.
every time something comes, she probably just wants to suppress this and not
yeah.
think
Well,
about it.
that could be one of the answers.
And then every time something like this comes up, he's somehow able to like explain it away.
Well,
And she just would
here's what
rather
I
believe
think.
him.
Here's what I think. I mean, she met Chris. She got impregnated by Chris at the same time all this other
Yes,
stuff
and how
was going
horrible
on.
that
So
happened.
he must have approached her the same way he's approached everybody. What do you think? He only chose one golden goose to approach differently. So she was approached the same way as everybody else. She knows what's going on. She knows what his game was to her to get her. But the only difference is she ended up getting pregnant, probably threatened him with something. I
Well,
want to
as
keep
she
this
should.
baby, and I want a nice house, and I want to keep this baby. And
As she should.
well, no, I don't believe that. I believe nobody
well,
should
if
have a baby.
You shouldn't be.
No one should have a baby with Chris D'Elia ever. Sorry,
Of
if you do
course,
that, you're on
but-
hell's record.
At least.
And but of course, what do you think? He was the only girl, or she was the only girl that he was ever nice to and normal, and all these other instances, or just, I mean, you know, he's calling the girl 2 weeks ago. She's been through this whole thing. She's just the winner. You know, the other girl was a girlfriend too. And the other girl Jasmine would probably love to be the wife. If Chris just said, I'll be husband, you be wife. Why not? Have you seen the white walls? Have you seen the candelabra?
That's not true.
It's
She's
not
one
true,
of the
but
people who
I'm just
came
saying
and
they
who
all
had the
start
courage to
somewhere. They
come
all
out
start the
against
same
him.
way. They all start the same way. You know what I mean? They all start the same way. As he shows interest, he does his manipulation, and then you either end up the wife or the person who tells it to the New York Times. You know? And of course she knows. Of course she knows all of it. I mean, if this was happening to us and Jules was getting all these messages, you know, how sick would you have to be to stand by me like this? It would be sick. I mean, you would be twisted. So even if it's all fake, well, maybe you shouldn't be involved in somebody's getting so many framings done to him. What about that? Isn't that still a thing? Like, Jules, if I was being framed every second of the day for 5 years,
with hundreds
you'd be like,
of
it's
different
just,
people,
listen, this guy with hundreds of different
who all
people.
have the same story and describe you perfectly.
Is you. Yes, exactly. So it's, you know, enough with this nonsense. Enough with what she's doing. She's just as guilty. Kristen, come on down.
But she could be stuck in his web.
She could be stuck in his web too. But listen, she's not outing him. She's working with him. She's sharing half his money. She's in cahoots. She's legally, you know, it's like if we found out that Elon Musk was secretly making missiles to blow up the world, the vice president of Tesla would be involved too.
One part we didn't play, all of the girls in the documentary, or at least a couple of them, were saying that he always threatens with suicide.
Yes.
When
he threatens with suicide, allegedly.
And she is the mother of his kids.
And that's
so
what the girl said. Most people don't. Even if, like, Stavvy Official will probably threaten me with suicide, and then I'll probably back off. I don't want anyone committing suicide tied to me. It's eerie. Get it? I would do a lot if somebody was threatening to commit suicide. And so would you. Like, if somebody was going, oh, yeah, Mike? You talk shit about me one more time, I'll commit suicide. I swear I'll do it. Even if Sim Tripoli said that, I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to.
I'm not involved.
I don't want to be involved in anyone's death. Sorry, you're the God believers, by the way. You think God's going to be cool with all this nasty, nefarious, dark stuff? So, yeah, I'm out called suicide. And, you know, imagine these girls, and he's picking the girls. You know, I know what you're saying about the girls. Fine. But he's picking them on purpose, don't you see? He picks those types of girls on purpose so that it's easier to get out of this stuff with. Oh, that's just a crazy fucking idiot, you know. And his fans do believe that. And then you do go, imagine being this. Like, imagine if it was you and you're trying to tell the world this crazy story and just everyone didn't believe you. You know,
it would be horrible.
It would really be frustrating. I mean, it would drive you insane.
I mean, you go crazy because like Joe Rogan is doing it with Kumia.
Now finally these girls know, these victims of Chris. That's why I can only feel so
and you're
bad.
Like, why is
this is how I feel when Joe List releases a movie. I get it.
So imagine how they feel.
Imagine how they feel.
The frustration.
So. And hey, you know, at the end of the day, I don't care what's true. I want him gone. No, I'm kidding. They play that for the court. Court, you're never going to get me. I ain't showing up.
Allegedly.
And if any of you sue me, it'll be the biggest payday of my life. I'll go through it. You know, what's the worst that's going to happen to me? 8 days cleaning up a fire truck? I'll take it. That's, federal worker, they call it, or what do they call that? What you got to do? I've done that before. I was busted many years ago destroying mailboxes as a Ute. And I was offered community service. I took it. I had to clean the fire trucks for 8 days straight.
Was it kind of fun at all?
Perfectly fun, especially as a kid. You had no phone. There was no iPhone. I was going to be cleaning fire trucks anyway, stupid idiot. That's what I fucking loved.
I was going to say that.
I was a fire truck detailer.
That's how you are so into detailing.
That's why I'm into Adams polishes.
Did you know that Mike has an old lady friend that he met at the car wash that he texts about detailing?
Lori is her name. I won't say her last name, but I was at the car wash. And I met an older woman named Lori. She had a Jeep Gladiator all souped up. And she saw, my car was going through first. They were hand washing it. Hers was going second. And she's standing out there and she's on her phone. And I'm admiring this Gladiator as it comes by. And then she goes, you ever been here before? And I go, yeah, they're really actually the best car wash. It's like, they're amazing, actually. I've had my car detailed for like $600 and this is better than the detailing for, 80. And she goes, yeah, I'm like an expert detailer. I go a little overboard. So I want to see how they do compared to my job. And then she starts showing me photos of her like washing this Jeep Gladiator. And I go, wait, that's yours? And this is like the most impressive Jeep. It had it all. Baja designs, lighting. You know, a roof rack from Rhino. Those ain't cheap. It had it all. And I go, that's yours? She goes, yep. And I'm kind of obsessed with this one product, Adams Polishes. And she starts showing me her phone. She's got a cabinet in her garage, head to toe, with Adams Polishes. She details her own car. It looked incredible, by the way. It was a 2018. It looked brand new. And we started talking. We hit it off. We exchanged numbers. And I call her. I text her back and forth to ask her about detailing products, and she's very helpful. I have a 68-year-old woman friend, short hair. She owns a Gladiator. Her name's Lori.
She ruled.
She rocks, and she goes, anytime you want to come over, we'll detail the cars together. I'm meeting these old friends. So I'm turning into a real cool adult. And
I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. I'm friends with some old ladies here and there. I'm friends with this guy,
You get along
Balenciaga.
well with older women, I think.
I do get along well. Renee D'Ambrosio might tell you another story. I locked her in a room once in Venice.
And she's still,
wait, you want to hear something?
And she's still here today.
She's still here today.
You get along great.
I'm going to tell you a true story that it's not a story. I'm going to tell you a statement, and this is all true. How crazy is this? Listen to this. We have a 68-year-old listener named Renee D'Ambrosio, and one time she came out to an LA live event and came back to the Airbnb rental we were staying in, and I locked her in a room with another comedian named Othi, and I locked them in the back room, and I tied a bungee cord to the door to another door so they couldn't open the door. And they were in there for 4 hours screaming to get out while we laughed and giggled and filmed under the door. That's all I'll say. And I can say that's a very true story. And that woman still listens today. That's the kind of stuff we used to do.
How could you do that?
And we made a video called Locked in a Room. We made a video out of it called Locked.
Is that video still on YouTube?
I mean,
someone should
that is
post
cancelable. That is cancelable in today's standards. Back then, that was a funny thing that you could do. It was allowed.
I mean, if someone locked you in a room, let
for
alone
4 hours
at 68,
they were They broke the door.
Think of you now. And then think of how your body is going to feel when you're 60.
Yes.
And then
could
think
you
about
imagine?
being locked in a room with no phone for
with
4
some comedian,
hours.
some dipshit comedian named Othi. We locked them in and we laughed, pretended we weren't there. They're like, "Let us out, Mike!" And I'm like, and they could hear us, obviously. And we're
I
like,
remember
filming.
that
I'm
video
sticking my
so
iPhone
vividly.
under the crack in the door to film them, and they tried busting out the window. They broke the door. We finally had to let them out because they punched a hole through the door of an Airbnb. I was charged like $2,600 that I think Renee paid for.
No, you should pay her back as a Christmas
Yeah,
gift.
and you know what? Renee still listens to this show, and I can't believe that I would ever do that. I mean,
You
thinking
should
of
do
doing
a formal apology to her
Yes.
now that you're older.
because thinking of doing something like now, that is very inappropriate. The victims right now might be a little worried about this guy. That is nuts. I'm telling you, it wasn't nuts back then. You got to think back to these old times before all this stuff. None of this was nuts. I mean, people did bad stuff, and it was funny, and it was cheered on.
And you didn't lock her in the room with Othi in like a sexual
No,
way,
oh
by
God,
the
no,
way.
no. It was just,
it just happened to
and
be
me
a
and Renee
bedroom.
know each other very well, and I just thought, how funny, this old lady's locked in a room.
It's
She's a
mostly
listener. She can,
that you're stuck with Othi.
yeah,
He's
you're
so
stuck with all the,
annoying.
there's nothing sexual, of course, and we're just laughing. And, you know, I don't know if she now is listening back to the story going, that is actionable. But, you know, we still communicate all the time. She always wishes me well. And don't worry, Renee, if I ever saw you today, I would not lock you in a room. No way, by the way, would I ever lock anyone in a room.
Ever.
Ever.
I mean,
But that's
if
what-
right now Mike came and was like, I'm going to rent an Airbnb
Yes.
and invite over one guy. I'd
Yes,
be like,
you would think,
"That's
no.
crazy."
That's how crazy things used to be.
But you
We
used
used
to
to
go,
have
"I'm gonna
live
get an
shows, and we'd
Airbnb."
invite all the listeners back to the Airbnb,
Like
and they'd
50
party,
people
and it would be like nuts, and we'd
in an
trash the
Airbnb
place.
under
We'd
your
throw
name.
under my name. I was banned from Airbnb, for this very reason, and that's how wild it got. And you used to be able to do that. Believe me, Gene Simmons is sitting there like this, thinking about the stuff he did.
It
and
makes me sick. to
yeah,
think
I mean, that's just crazy. And it wasn't long ago. This was like 2 years ago. Just kidding. That was 10 years ago. And Renee is still a paying member. But
We're
imagine
getting
that.
old.
Imagine if there was a story like Mike locked a listener in a room. I mean, that would be like a huge story on YouTube right now. That's how different things are. You can't lock people anywhere.
Like, imagine if David Dobrik locked someone in a room who was screaming to get out.
Yes. Those were the days, man. I'm so glad we got to at least live a little bit before the times changed. Because, I mean, there was beatings, rapes.
No,
I'm
please
just
don't
kidding. No,
say
there's
that.
no rapes.
Please.
There's no, trust
It's
me,
not
there's
funny
no
because
rape.
the rest of everyone
Yes,
is
does
doing
that? Yes,
rape,
I
so
know.
that's why
That
it's
is not
funny.
a joke. That's not. It's. See, this is what pisses us off so much.
Is because you
all
think that
these
you're like, oh, it
jokes.
would
Wait,
be
wait,
so-
wait.
Yeah.
There was a time where all this could be a joke. And and you see like people like Josh Denny, all these free speech. This is why we're so mad at them. And like Kumia, because you can't joke. Like, who else have you seen in the last decade that was able to say the things I've said on today's show? No one. No one will dare. Because even if you're kidding, people do that now. So you can't do it. You can't say it as a joke because they'll think you're doing it. So it really is. That's why I get so mad at the Denny's of the world, at the Gavins, at the Kumias,
And the
at the
Chris's.
Crystalias, because you can't make these jokes anymore because many of the jokesters really do this stuff. Isn't that something? That infuriates me because I was doing all this stuff.
Kevin Ferguli
Jokes.
says, imagine if they saw the video of the time Mike shaved Othie's head.
I know. I shaved a guy's head unbeknownst to him. And then
There's
I
one
threw
thing I'm
the
thinking of right now that I don't even want to say.
You can't probably.
I don't think I can say. I want to say
And
it, but
it's
there's
really
one
a shame.
thing.
It's really a shame because those things are so funny to people. And they're so fun. And to me, if 10 people laugh and one person cries, it's still worth it. That's how I lived my whole life. Even at school, the principal would go, "You were making fun of Megan O'Malley." And I go, yes, but so many people found this joy in it that she can fuck her. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, who cares?
And you
it
know
was
what?
so funny.
When we all learned a little bit about ourselves that day also.
Yeah, we do. And, making fun of people, you're only going to get a laugh making fun of somebody if there's some need for it to happen. People aren't just maniacal. If I went up to some girl and stabbed her in the neck, nobody's going to laugh. But if you're making fun of somebody in the right way and everybody's laughing, it might be necessary. There might be a reason.
And it's better than Crystalia, who goes,
Well, I would
100
hope so.
people are laughing and one person gets raped. So
There's
what?
no
Who
rape. By the way,
cares
there's
about
no
that?
rape on my records. I'm like, well, you never know. Okay, I think there was another scene from this that I really wanted to show you. Oh yeah, this was creepy.
4310.
Oh, you want to skip
yeah.
over the next one?
Oh.
We can see it.
Yeah,
I like
30 minutes.
these guys. 30 minutes. Now, why are they all of a sudden talking about how they met? Here's something weird. Jules and I have been married for 5 years. Nobody gives a fuck. I got married to her. Nobody asked how we met. Nobody asked what's going on. Nobody gives a shit. We've got no presents for our wedding. We didn't have a wedding, by the way. I refused. We did our marriage at a courthouse with a black woman.
Nobody asked.
And the black woman goes, "Do you have anything you want to say to each other?" And we go, "No, thank you." We were wearing Adidas, by the way. That's how you know how unwedding-y we are. Like, to me, having a wedding could be worse than committing suicide naked on TV.
This
To
may
have to
sound-
be at a wedding. I mean, have you seen what a wedding is? A father and son dance? No. a speech with your brother crying? No. Wearing those outfits? Absolutely not. So we got married at the courthouse. We were giggling and laughing through the whole time because this black woman was like, do you pronounce it? And we were like, and we felt so weird. But
I mean, this might sound like a cope to the trad folk out there, but courthouse weddings to me are the most romantic thing you could possibly do.
If you're putting yourself, and you got to snap out. Here's the thing: snap out of it, folks. Just because you saw somebody else have a wedding doesn't mean weddings are what happens. You can create your own life. You know, all these people, they really live on this track where they just go, oh yeah, you have this wedding, and then like 2 years from that, at least, like you have a kid, and then you just celebrate all the holidays just like your dad did, and then you just go, aren't you embarrassed? Isn't that... Don't you cringe?
Like,
I do. I mean, if you don't cringe, if you actually like that stuff,
think hard.
God bless you.
Think really hard. Close your eyes. When's the last time that you saw, no offense, I'm so sorry to everyone out there, but when's the last time that you saw a wedding or a picture of someone's wedding and you were like, this
cringe.
looks awesome and cool?
It's the gayest thing in the world. You're all dancing and smiling with a bunch of fat oafs and poor people. Like, what are you doing? I can't even imagine. Like, I would not get married if we had to get a wedding. If we had to have a wedding, I would just not get married. I'd be single.
But
really? I'd rather you fucking die than have a wedding.
When Kim and Saul got married in their courthouse wedding, I was bawling.
No, courthouse wedding. Listen, legally, you got to do it.
sobbing.
I don't know why it's not enough for me to just email some judge and go, I'm married now. Bye. I don't even know what marriage is. To be honest. I mean, we went, it was like $30 and we got a certificate, and we've never, I don't know if you have to follow up with it or anything.
Nope.
But these people feel the need. Everybody else needs to tell, let's tell each other how we met. Now, why, on the day of Chris's documentary, are you reliving how you met? Let's hear this.
Call in the therapy world deflection.
No, it's one of the tentacles that we use in this podcast.
Oh,
we
I
need to
see,
get back
okay.
to the head of the octopus.
Got it. Okay.
The head of the octopus.
Okay.
Starring Crystalia.
Starring? No, there's no
Kristen.
starring. You're not in movies. Remember Tig Notaro with the removed breasts took your role? You look like Tig Notaro, suffering from cancer of the breast. They've removed her breast, and this is a woman that took your role. A woman with no breasts. And you sat there. Remember, he was supposed to be in Army of the Dead. That movie that the director thought he should shoot himself. It was awful. It gave me a headache, huh? It was worse than Gravity, which I saw with Renee D'Ambrosio, our oldest listener. Do you know this? Here's another fact.
Oh, yeah.
Renee
The same
D'Ambrosio
woman
visited
that-
Chicago to be on the show. I used to let listeners be on the show. She visited Chicago. Me and her alone went to see Gravity in IMAX. She paid. I went with an old lady and saw Gravity.
That is
This happened.
so cute.
Okay, listen to this.
Taylor, the head of the octopus. But what?
So I met you, and I had
Why do we
been
need
watching. I watched your
And why is
vines.
everyone's wedding and meeting like so important? As if, you know what I mean? We all meet.
I know.
If you're not meeting, you should be the one telling the story, because that's the wilder tale.
I mean, I can see being excited about when you first meet.
You want to hear the story I first met Jules? I was on a children's school trip. I saw a kid. I grabbed it by the neck, brought it over to me.
You can't joke about that because that's how you...
I put masking tape on her eyes. Do something about it. Here,
college.
Wow.
Like
listen to this.
probably, let's see, I was 25 or 6 when I met you. So when I was like 22.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, like, I bet I would like him. Or like, I bet we would get along.
Okay, so you got to be one of the psychos. I mean, you got to be one of the, you saw Chris and you're like, oh my God, I bet he would like me. Oh. You saw this psycho with this haircut and you wanted in. You know? How could she not be the same as everybody else? How could she have not heard the same story? He just approached her like a gentleman one day. Let her lead. Out of nowhere.
I mean, the part
You were
where
right.
they met isn't the interesting part. I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, what happened when
What
they got
happened?
together? Did you start as part of?
Did you have to
Were you
get
guys,
on
like,
your
dating
knees?
right
Did you have to do all the
away?
other stuff the
Did
other
you
girls
find
did?
out about the other stuff after
Yeah.
you started dating him? Or
When
did
did
you
you?
know
And
that
by the
going
way, she was
in?
impregnated before they got married. Are you only married to him because you were impregnated with the retard egg?
And then I saw you perform, and then you were so.
Horrible.
I liked you so much more than I had ever liked anybody that I feel like it jump started my own like journey to becoming.
This is after, and she's repeating all this after knowing all the stuff, all the allegations. She could look in this man's eye.
I
She
know, like, how could you not be
loves
thinking
him.
about it?
And she even
24/7?
comments throughout this episode. She goes, "I love you so much." His doc just came out again. You can't love him right now. You should
mean-
love him, but be very angry.
These people must be on heavy Xanax because probably when I'm
Yes,
falling asleep
Xanax.
tonight, I'm gonna be probably worrying about you.
Would you be
locking
able
Renee
to-
in a room or something?
Yes,
like
exactly.
That all night,
I'm
worrying.
already worried about
Like,
what I've done to
every night-
Renee.
Every night after the show, I like go to bed going, "Oh my god, what's gonna happen?"
And
What did we
by the way,
do?"
Renee is so old that, trust me, it doesn't matter. Okay, this isn't a
But
human.
I mean, so if I had this on my back, I would be like, I
Yes.
couldn't even eat.
Exactly. And you couldn't look at me like that
No.
without like shuddering in fear.
better person.
Oh, wow.
kind of. Yeah, because I was like, I need to really get my shit together if I'm gonna be like worth him.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and so I really, really
This is creepy.
did that. And
Look at him. Look at him.
why are you? It seems like that's bad.
No, it's
I was-
great.
Because he's remembering all the pain and the darkness. You look at me like that's bad. Yes, because it all is. Your son is a demon born out of all this muck. Your son will be the biggest monster the world. Him and Northie hooking up, Northie West. Woo! Eminem, please denounce Chris D'Elia. Disavow.
Yes, Eminem is.
We call on Eminem, Your Honor. Well,
Why are you? It seems like that's bad.
No, it's
I was-
great.
I loved you
It's
so
just-
much, I
know,
was
but
like,
it's
I-
just dealing with that kind of actual connection is,
What do you mean?
it's so hard to actually feel all those emotions.
Yeah, yeah. We've had a.
imagine if I said anything resembling a conversation like this live on air. You would shoot me dead with a swastika-shaped bullet. Listen to all these emotions.
Something I didn't think of. I'm just reading the chat
Yeah,
comments
yeah,
from
I
the
would
past
love to
few
hear
minutes.
it.
Someone
I would
says
love to
she
hear.
likes having this over him.
Yes, makes
And then
her
I
in
was
charge for the
thinking
first time
of-
because her father is probably Chris D'Elia Part 1. I guarantee you Google his father. His father's a cow banging machine. This is a Michael Imperioli type dad. Worse,
She's
at least Michael
basically
Imperioli.
Daphne from The White Lotus.
Yes.
We've had quite a journey together.
Look at this. He can't take it serious because it's so. Look at this scene.
Come on.
Wait. Go back. Listen to what she says and look how Chris is responding.
All the way home will be warm. Let's hear those sleigh bells jingling, tingling too.
Look how she's making faces.
You just leave.
See?
We have had quite a journey. Silent.
Quite a disgusting journey compared to us.
So true.
You know, Jules, if you were on this journey, I mean, I would ask you to shoot
Thank
yourself.
you
in
for
the-
not taking me on
on
any
this journey. I mean, really, we've been on quite a journey of all my accusations, and you just standing there listening to them.
What's that?
You
The
should go to
lighter.
4310.
You're stupid, dude.
Okay, 4310. Let's hear some more. And please watch all these Christian episodes. They're really bizarre. 4310. Probably the age of his dad when he first had his first trans man, and Chris found the disc 4310. Believe me, Chris learned this from his father, Bill D'Elia, working in Hollywood. 4310. Here we go. Let's hear this.
Talking like this, and you're talking like this. Sounds so much better.
Yeah, but like you said, I'm a civilian.
Dude, you got jokes.
I don't need to be.
You got jokes in your pocket.
Jokes in my pocket.
So hold on.
Should we talk about that while we were watching?
We were watching Oprah and the fucking dude, and we were watching Oprah and why men cheat, and the dude in the.
We were watching Oprah on Why Men Cheat. You know, I was talking about this during Love Is Blind. Imagine watching one of these shows with your wife and they start bringing up cheaters when you've just gone through 2 years of MSNBC cheating stories. How fucking awkward would that be? And now they're bringing this up. It's like do they find comfort in bringing up stuff like this so they could seem innocent? It's really twisted. Like, Chris D'Elia should not be talking about cheating with his wife laughing it up together. Listen to this.
Pocket.
So hold on.
Should we talk about that while we were watching?
We were watching Oprah and the fucking dude, and we were watching Oprah and why men cheat, and the dude in the being interviewed by Oprah. She was like, so why did you cheat? And he was like, man, I don't know. He was like, I like this woman because she was showing me adoration and she had jokes in her pocket.
She had a joke in her pocket.
Yeah, she had jokes in her pocket, dude. So
and we came to the conclusion that men cheat because they're being affirmed by women. It's not necessarily the sex. They're just like getting adoration.
Yeah,
Seems to be the common.
Yeah, I mean, if that's like, like what you could handle better than the other way around, then I mean, that's what it is. It's not like I want to have sex with her. I just want to, I got this admiration issue. So
it's like that sounds just as bad. Like I would almost
that's
rather
worse.
just want sex.
Yes, he just thought she was so hot. He's just an animal. But no, it's that he wants admiration
aspect. I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's admiration. Look at this.
By women, it's not necessarily the sex. They're just like getting adoration.
Yeah,
Seems to be the common thread.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a bunch of different reasons why, but yeah.
Because cheating is something that we often,
talk about
in our relationship.
Why do you often talk about cheating? You know what Jules talk about often in a relationship? Josh Denny in his tweets. Not cheating. That's not something you should often talk about in your relationship.
The common thread.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a bunch of different reasons why, but yeah.
Because cheating is something that we often,
talk about
in our relationship.
Yeah, we do talk about that.
Oh. Look.
Chestnut.
And a goof. Then he's goofing.
Hold on. Sorry to interrupt again.
Go ahead.
I know I'm
Go
being
ahead. No, please.
blah, blah, blah. But someone in the chat says, PG Maddie says, yeah, it's not about sex. Meanwhile, a year before, Chris admitted he was addicted to sex. And that's so true. His whole excuse is that he was addicted to sex. And
now it's...
the story he's telling now kind of lines up more with the cult stuff.
The documentary, yeah.
So it's making sense.
And Christian, how much of a part of this do you play? And should your rich father find out, would he still have his membership at that golf club?
I think that God damn it, I wanted to do a bit. And then
how are you ever going to come up with another one?
There was some bit I wanted to fucking goddamn do.
Ooh.
I'm sure you'll find 10 to make up for it, sweetheart.
They won't be good, and they'll be stolen from Brian Redband. All right, so that's Chris D'Elia and his wife. How disgusting. And maybe his wife needs to have a worse time online than she's been having. I don't know.